Well, hi there, and welcome to the Sovereign CEO Podcast. I am Caleb Jones, and just so you know, I have another podcast called the Alpha Male 2.0 Podcast, where I discuss dating and lifestyle design for men, testosterone, various things like that. It's a little controversial, so if you don't like controversial stuff, you should probably stay away. But if you have any interest in that, you can subscribe to that podcast too. That is over at alphamale20.com/podcast. Speaking of that, a percentage of you are aware of this. Those of you who follow my content for a long time. If you didn't know, I've been an online content provider for about 15 years now, various different topics. Most of that has been through blogging. I switched to video a few years ago. I came out of the pickup artist world. That's where I got started in terms of this online e-commerce career. I'm a business consultant by trade. I'm a businessman. And so the dating stuff was always a side gig for me. A little extra income. I started out way back around 2000, when was this? 2008. I started in the pickup artist world back when pickup artists were still kind of cool. It's a long time ago now, I'm dating myself. But anyway, started back then, and there were a lot of other pickup artists back then on the pickup artist forums. Again, this is back when pickup artist and PUA was hot. Because Mystery was a big name, and Neil Strauss, who was called Style back then, was a big name. There were a lot of big name guys, and we all talked to each other. I was actually the second generation of pickup artists. The first generation would be like Mystery and Style and guys like that. And I was the second generation. My name back then was Black Dragon. There were many other guys in that generation on the forums and things like that. And for those of you who don't know, I posted on forums. That was a big thing back then before we had Discord. And there was the biggest forum in all of the pickup artist world, the one that Mystery and Style came out of, was a pickup artist forum called fastseduction.com. It is long gone now. And on that forum, you would get a ranking, a user ranking for how popular your posts were. So people, every time there's a post, people would click a little star ranking and they would rate your posts. And that would go into a ranking. And there were 40,000 users on that forum, okay? And of all 40,000, it ranked all 40,000 in order of how well people liked your posts. And I was posted away for a while. And one day I looked at that list and my name was number 8 on that list. And I went, oh shit, what the hell, really? Okay, interesting. Because I talked about things like non-monogamy and online dating, which back then was a niche. It was a new thing back then. And over time, I went up to number 4 on that list, and I eventually got to number 2 on that list. Again, this is many, many years ago. And I said, well, God, people like my content. I should make money. One of my core concepts is to monetize your hobbies. So anything you do for fun, you should figure out a way to make money from that, because why not? If you can do it for fun, you might as well make money doing it. So I started this little business called Black Dragon back in 2009. I sold 1 or 2 little ebooks, and I had a little coaching service. Okay, started this little business on, and my goal back then was to make it. Back then, this is again 15 years ago. Back then, my goal was literally to make enough money to pay for the gas and the drinks for my first dates. Back then, I was going on lots and lots of first dates. Today, I'm married, different lifestyle now. I'm an old man now. I'm 50 now, but back then I was a little younger, and that was literally my objective. And at the same time I was doing this, around 2009. There were lots of other pickup artists in that same exact world who also started their own businesses, selling ebooks, because that was a big thing back then, selling coaching services, selling boot camps, which I didn't do until much later. A lot of people did this. I could name a lot of names. I'm not going to, because you'll find out in a second why I'm not going to. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or start any shit. But there were lots and lots of pickup artists back then who also started their own businesses, e-commerce businesses back then, around the same time I did. 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. Okay, a lot of them, like a lot of them. Matter of fact, I would say most of the bigger name pickup artist guys back then started some kind of online business selling books on Amazon or ebooks or coaching services or what have you. And what's really interesting to me is, I was thinking about this a while back. I was talking to someone about this, reminiscing. You probably know who you are. I won't say your name. You're a big name guy. What is fascinating to me is all those guys are gone. None of them ended up making any money, with 1 or 2 exceptions. I am one of the few guys that is still around, still making money on the internet. Not only making money, big money. That's a 6-figure income stream to this very day. I was making 6 figures just from that income stream alone, in addition to my other normal, brick and mortar business, my consulting practice, my marketing company that had nothing to do with dating. I was already making 6 figures from those. But I was, relatively shortly, within a few years, making 6 figures doing e-commerce selling dating advice. And to this day, that still represents a decent income stream for me. It's not my biggest income stream, but it's a big one. In terms of today, how many other guys from that world, that pickup artist world, are still around? There's only one I can think of. His name is Chase. He's a really good guy. He has a website called Girls Chase. You can check him out. He's really good. He's still around. He's still doing it. and me and who else? I think that's it. They're all gone. The vast, vast, vast majority of these guys started a business, worked at it for a while, fizzled out, and closed their business and went and got a job and did something else. So why? Why is that? Why is it that I made not only I succeeded, but made a lot of money doing this when these guys didn't make any money or hardly any money? So let's look at the reasons you might think that are not the reasons, okay? Was it because I had better dating advice than they did? No. A lot of those guys, matter of fact, a decent percentage of those guys were better at getting laid with girls than I was. Matter of fact, one of them hated me and said that publicly. Caleb sucks. He has no game. I have strong game. I've had sex with more girls than Caleb has. Fuck him. Or Black Dragon, as we used to call him back then. So, and yes, there were guys back then who, in terms of game skill or day game or going out meeting women at night, could run circles around me. They were way better at it than I was. Now, I was pretty damn good. I'm not saying I was bad at this. I was very, very good. I'm still good. I'm non-monogamous today, even though I'm married. But to be fair, there were guys who started businesses who gave better advice, or at least were better at it than I was. No question about it. And they didn't make any money. So that wasn't the reason. That's not it. Was it because I was smarter than these guys? I have a higher IQ. You always get these guys say, well, it's all about IQ. If you're smarter, you'll make more money. If you're dumber, you won't. And it's not fair to dumb people. And we need socialism and we need universal basic income because it's not fair to smart people. Wrong. Incorrect. Firstly, factually incorrect. I've talked about, written blog articles about how it's actually harder to make a lot of money when you're smarter. Okay. The Elon Musk types are the exception. I've said this before, nothing will make you more pissed off to meet someone who is dumber than you, who makes a lot more money than you. That happens to me on a semi-regular basis, and it drives me insane. It just happened to me a few weeks ago. I met someone, nice person, made way more money than me, and the guy was a dumbass. That's not a personal attack. That's just, he would admit, if he was sitting here like, yeah, I'm dumb, I don't know shit. So that's not it. So no, these pickup artists, for the most part, were very intelligent. A few of you guys I know were in that world back then, and you remember, I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to start shit, but there were some names I could name of very intelligent, very articulate, very high IQ pickup artists who really, really were good and could really understand these things and explain their viewpoints. Now, the challenge of the pickup artist world back then, and still actually all the way to today, what remains of that world, is that they had very little self-awareness. They had very little emotional control. They'd fly off the handle. They'd say a lot of stupid shit because they get angry. And when they calm back down, then they were articulate again. But they were very intelligent, very, very smart. Pickup artists are not dumbasses. They're very, very intelligent people. Mystery's a genius. He's a very smart guy. So no, that wasn't it. I'm an intelligent guy, but many of these guys were smarter than me. No problem. Yeah. So that wasn't it. Now, what else? Was it because I worked harder than they did? Now, in many cases, yes. In many cases, that's true. In many cases, I did work harder. A lot of these guys kind of half-assed it. But some of these guys put in a lot of time and effort into writing their books, into getting their books formatted just right, into marketing their books and asking for, please like my book on Amazon and please give a rating and please do this. And they did a lot of promotion. They worked very hard. So there were a bunch of guys who started little pickup artist companies and they worked very, very hard at it. They took it very seriously and they made no money. So that's not it. So what was the deciding factor? Why did I succeed where the other 99%, 95% failed? What was that key difference? Here's the difference. You ready for this? This is it. This is how you make money when no one else is in a given sector. The reason is when they weren't making any money, they stopped working and I didn't. That's it. Eventually, all of these guys, or at least 99%, eventually said, well, this is bullshit. I'm doing all this work. I'm not making any money. I'm not getting clicks on my blogs. No one's downloading my ebook. I'm not getting enough attention. Fuck this. This isn't working. And they left. And they gave up. That's very common. You see these guys make a big splash. A number of guys, I could name a number of names, not going to, who would make a big splash on the internet. They'd have some really cool blogs. They get a lot of attention. I get a lot of questions about them back then. And 6 months, 8 months, year and a half later, they were gone. They just were gone. They were gone. Because they got distracted with something else, or they weren't making enough money, or they got busy with work, or they got married, or whatever. And they were just gone. I didn't do that. I started a blog called the Black Dragon blog back in 2009. And I wrote 3 blog posts a week, every single week, without fail, without taking a break, without going on vacation, every single week, even if I was sick, even if I was traveling, every single week. And I didn't make any real money in terms of money I could reliably rely upon, money that was reliable on a monthly basis for about 18 months. I mean, I made some money before that, but it wasn't reliable income. But you know what I did? I kept plowing. I kept writing blog posts. I kept at it. I kept focused. I kept grinding that shit. I kept posting on Twitter. I kept doing all social media stuff. I kept working even when no one was paying attention. And I remember the days where I'd make a blog post and I'd pour my heart and soul into it and I get like 22 clicks, 22 views. I'm like, oh my God, this sucks. And that is emotionally difficult for most human beings. Most human beings, they go, oh, fuck this. I'm doing all this work and no one's paying attention. But I kept going because I already had a business background. I was already a very successful business owner by then. I was older than most of these guys, but then most of these guys were in their 20s. I was in my mid-30s at the time, mid to late 30s. And so I already knew how money works and how business works. It's not a get-rich-quick thing. It's not an overnight success. It's plowing away when no one is paying attention until finally you start making the big money. And it's not because I was smarter. It's not because my game skills were stronger. It's not because of any of these things. It's because I kept going when they stopped. That's it. That's the number one reason. Now, are there other factors? Yes, there are other factors. I have a lot of business acumen. I was already a successful businessman by the time I started doing that. And most of these guys had never started a business before, so they didn't understand basic concepts about branding and marketing and, time management. They didn't have these skills. So that is also another factor. I'm not saying that's the only reason, but that's the biggest reason. I kept going. I kept at it. Most internet entrepreneurs get discouraged. They see, Andrew Tate and Gary Vee and Grant Cardone, and they start busting their ass for 6 months. And when they don't make $1 trillion in 6 months, they say, well, this is bullshit. And they get frustrated, they stop. Or, and many of you have this problem, they get shiny object syndrome. This is another common problem. They get excited about a business, they start working on it. Within 3 months, they go, oh, what about that? What about crypto? I'm gonna go do crypto. And they go do crypto, right? Then they go, oh, what about, DeFi, da-da-da. They go do that, right? Oh, what about TikTok? I'm going to do that now. And they bounce around. They don't sit and focus on one thing until they make fucking money. They don't do that. And there's a lot of generational reasons for that. Millennials and Gen Zs, they are very impatient. They want shit now. They don't want to wait. They don't want to do deferred gratification. That's just not part of their DNA. I understand. There's a lot of human aspects to this. It's emotionally difficult to post content and no one's paying attention. That is emotionally hard for people. I have a lot more emotional control than most people. That's why I talk about that in my books. Why emotional control is so important. Why consistency is so important. Having a long-term view, setting long-term goals. I have said always from day one. Matter of fact, here's what I said when I started my business back in 2009, is I said back then, this is a 15-year project for me. I'm going to be doing this and talk about these topics for 15 years. 2009, that means 2024. I'm going to keep talking about this till 2024. And guess what? I kept that promise. I have another channel called Alpha Male 2.0 where I talk about dating advice for men, non-monogamous relationships, and a bunch of other stuff. I still talk about this stuff. I'm still making money at it, so why wouldn't I? But I took the long view. I didn't have this attitude, I'm going to bust my ass and make a bunch of money in 6 months. No, I said I'm doing this for 15 years. This is a 15-year time span. I play the long game. That's how I was differentiated from all those other guys back in that world who didn't play the long game. They wanted money now. And I agree, money now is nice. And when you operate a business, you have 2 different marketing buckets. You have a money now bucket and a money later bucket. And I do both. So they're both important. But if you only focus on money now and you're starting from zero, you're gonna have to be a little patient, at least for the big money. Now, we have a program called the 90-Day Business Builder. And we talk about how you can make money within 90 days. But even that program, we don't say you'll make $1 million in 90 days. You'll make $100,000 income in 90 days. You'll make money in 90 days, but not a shitload, right? So even then you have to be a little patient. And most people aren't. And they just get frustrated and they go back to their corporate job. And in the collapsing Western world, relying on a corporate job is not very smart. You have to learn to persist. You have to learn to stick with it and not get distracted for X amount of time. And I have been asked many times before, Caleb, how long should I wait? How long should I wait before I make a decision that this business isn't working? I don't have a definite specific answer that I could answer to everyone because it really depends on the niche and what you're doing and the price point and various other factors. The number I typically throw out is 18 months. You put your nose to the grindstone and you hit it for 18 months. That's a year and a half, okay? And after a year and a half, you're getting no traction and you're really doing it, then fine, you can look at other options. However, and this is a big however, I will get guys all the time. This just happened again on my Facebook group. I will get guys all the fucking time who say, I've been busting my ass at this business for 4 months and I haven't gotten one customer. I've gotten one client. I've been busting my ass for 4 months. And when you ask them what busting your ass means, you say, what does that mean? And when you get into the specifics of what they mean by busting their ass, it means they're thinking about it a lot. When you say busting your ass, here's what busting your ass means. If you have a daytime job, you only have to work part-time in your business, fine. That means you're spending at least 10 to 15 hours a week marketing. So whenever says, I've been busting my ass and do self. How are you working at least 10 to 15 hours a week marketing? No, you're not busting your ass. You're just thinking about it. That's not busting your ass. And that's a problem with my audience, many people in my audience, is because they're smart, they sit around and they think about shit, they don't do anything. Busting your ass is not thinking and stressing and contemplating and researching and watching YouTube videos and thinking and making spreadsheets. None of those fucking things make money. You know what makes money? Marketing, 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 marketing. That's busting your ass. Marketing either directly like pay-per-click ads or marketing indirectly through SEO and YouTube and blogging and things like that. They're both valid. One happens faster than the other, but one is free and the other one isn't. So it depends on your budget is. But if you want to give yourself an out in 18 months, that means after 18 months, you've been busting your ass marketing. You have a valid offer that you're offering the marketplace to a narrow niche. That's what I teach. Don't sell something to everyone. Find a narrow niche with a very specific problem that you solve. Making money is about solving problems. That's all it is. That you solve and that you develop or find or invent or use someone else's legally or do a joint venture with someone or something that helps them alleviate or solve that problem. You formulate that so it works. You know it works. And then you market for months and 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 months. And if you do that, you'll make money. Because I did. This income stream that I have, my Alpha Male 2.0 dating stuff, is a 6-figure income stream for me that I started for $29. $29. It cost me $29 to set up like a shopping cart thing and set up a domain name for my blog back then. That's it. You don't need a lot of money to do this. Now, I had to wait 18 months, but it was 18 months. I still remember. It's fun. I still remember the day a bazillion years ago, back in 2000, I think it was 2010. So 12 years ago, where I ran a P&L for all my companies, and my little stupid little internet blogging business, which was my smallest one at the time, I looked at it and I was making $800 a month net profit before taxes. $800 a month? No, that was it. It was more than that. It was like $1,100 a month. $1,100 a month. And my rent at the time was like just under that. It was like $1,050. I was renting this little crappy little house. And I went, holy crap, this dumb little internet business, this dumb little blog I have is paying my rent. That's pretty cool. And I realized there's real money in this. And I scaled it, and today it is what it is. But I kept going. I didn't make, $1,100 a month immediately. It took a long time to get there. Now, as I've said many times, if you have money to spend, because back then I didn't want to spend any money in that business. I was putting it in my other companies. So I'm like, I'm going to do this for free. This is a hobby. I'm monetizing my hobby, so I'm not going to spend a lot of money on it. But if you have money to spend on things like YouTube ads, Facebook ads, things like that, you'll get to the money even faster. Much faster if you have money to spend. If you're strapped on cash, you have to do what I did and use social media or YouTube videos or blogs or podcasting or some kind of free content drip to build a brand. That takes a little longer, but it still works because I did it. And you can do it. There are people on TikTok who are fucking killing it right now, just doing TikTok videos, okay? But even doing that, you've got to be fucking patient, even if you're gonna run ads, okay? You're not gonna make money immediately. That takes time. You have to A/B split test 10,000 different things when you run ads. You gotta split test the ad, split test the opt-in page. You gotta split, if you're doing sales, you gotta split test that in terms of the scripts you're using. There's a lot of things you have to do to get to the reliable income. You'll get there if you stick with it. If you get bored or frustrated or a shiny object, do something else, you will never make any money. And I personally know people in their 40s who call themselves, quote, entrepreneurs. Mark Cuban calls these guys wantrepreneurs. They're wantrepreneurs. They call themselves entrepreneurs, but they're not. They go from one business to the other 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 business, and they just, every year it's a different business they're doing, and they never make any money. I know one guy in his 50s. He's been doing this for 20 years. His wife is furious. His wife's like, we don't make any fucking money. We're going bankrupt. He's like, well, I'm an entrepreneur. And you knew that when you married me, and that's what I am. No, asshole, you're an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs make money. I mean, I'm amazed I have to make that distinction. Entrepreneurs earn profit. They make money. They don't constantly lose money every year on the next stupid business idea because they don't stick with it or they're smoking crack. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Entrepreneurs make money. I'm an entrepreneur. I make money. Okay? This is not difficult. The bottom line is you need to do whatever you need to do to stick with whatever you're doing for a prolonged period of time while putting in the real work, which means marketing and nothing else. Marketing, and you will, at least if you follow my advice, you will make money. Let me end with that. If you choose a narrow niche and you're focused on fixing a problem that that niche has that they perceive as a problem, not a niche you perceive as a problem, a niche they perceive as a problem, and you're selling something, doesn't matter what it is, you're selling something that is high margin to fix that problem, and you focus your time on marketing and do that for months and months and months, you will eventually make money. Eventually. Not tomorrow, not next week. Eventually. But you will make the money. I promise. You will. I've seen it over and over and over again. Okay? So be aware of this. Don't stop. Stick with it. Or else, if you don't have the ability to stick with a particular project, you will never be financially successful in your life. You will never be financially, that will not happen for you. Sorry. Got to do it. Got to suck it up and do it. You know, who are you? Sometimes, some of you guys just need to look in the mirror and say, who am I? What am I? They used to say back in the 80s, what am I made of? Are you a man or a mouse? What are you made of? Who are you? You a big pussy? Then go get a job. Go get a job and collapse with the rest of the Western world. Have fun. But if you're a man, if you're tough, stick it out, get to work, and stay at work. And you'll make it work, I promise. You will. That's it, and I'm an example of that, and I can give you many other examples from my business career over the past, 20, 30 years. I've been self-employed 100% since I was 24 years old. I'm 50. So I'm doing this for 25 years, way before I did pickup artist shit. Okay, so many, many times I made money because I stuck with it, and you will too. I think you get my point. I will see you in the next podcast. Have fun. Bye.